You know what, Allie?
Tell me.
You were your energy was iffy earlier, but you're turning it on.
I told you, no matter how tired I am, I can hit that switch for the podcast.
Yeah, I can't.
I know. As you're like passing out the room.
That's because I'm not talking at all.
Well, talk to me then.
I know.
Well, I am glad that you're awake at night, unlike me. So that's why we're doing nighttime recordings now.
Yep.
Okay. Well, hey, brother.
Hey, Al.
And welcome everyone back to another episode of Siblings in Crime. I'm Allie Rossell.
And I'm Blake Murphy.
And just as it sounds, we are siblings who love true crime.
Yes, love it.
Love it. And if you were here last week, you know that this is part 2.
A two-potter.
It's a 2-parter. We're at part 2. So if you haven't watched part 1 yet, go back, watch it. Make sure you know all the ins and outs of last episode so you're not confused hopping into this one.
Yeah. Really fast.
Yes.
Two-potter, it comes from Morbid, I'm pretty sure. Morbid in the morning. Because I keep saying it, and that's why you're copying me.
I know, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I wouldn't know. So if we're accidentally copying, we're so sorry. It's out of respect.
Yeah. Imitation is something flattery.
Highest form of flattery.
Something like that.
I agree.
So.
Well, if you haven't yet, please like, subscribe. We're Siblings in Crime Pod on all platforms, except we now got a website.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
More fireworks.
Yeah.
We're
Fireworks.
siblingsincrime.com. You'll find all of our episodes there. That is still a work in progress because we'll also have like merch one day.
Yeah, Patreon.
And a Patreon. So it's just in the building phases, but you can still find all the links to all of our YouTubes, etc. And a little bit about us.
Yeah.
So.
What does it say about me? It says I'm like.
You're the audience.
I'm the heart of the audience or something. Yeah.
So
I didn't write that.
He really relates to the audience.
Yeah.
So that's Blake's role. I'm the architect.
Yeah.
Piecing together.
Yeah, piecing together every crime.
Right.
And investigation.
So that's us. Well, let's get into it. I'm going to give you a little flashback of what we said last week.
Okay.
Quick as brief. In part 1, Ina Budnystka is found beaten and left for dead. Investigators have no clear explanation for what happened to her or how she could vanish from a hotel room filled with security cameras without ever being seen leaving. With no answers and no suspect, Ina files a lawsuit against the hotel alleging a lack of security. Ironically, security isn't the problem. The hotel is covered with cameras, like I said, but none of them captured what happened that night. So in an effort to protect themselves, the hotel hires a private investigator, Ken Brennan. For the first time in months, the case begins to warm up thanks to Ken. He is now armed with surveillance footage, a man whose actions don't blend in, timestamps that don't add up, and a suitcase that raises questions. The pieces have always been there, and they just haven't been put together the right way. Until now. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's roll.
Let's roll.
Well, so last week we talked about how private investigators are probably in like their dark room, you know, like doing their like the hardcore work by themselves.
Yeah, they're like super expert internet sleuths.
You know, I imagine Penelope Garcia from Criminal Minds. She's in her dark room. She has all the computers up.
Dog.
So, yeah.
Have you seen that TikTok where the guy's like names all of his teammates and he's like dog, like, you know, like Bill Johnson, dog.
No, I haven't seen that. That's funny though. But Garcia is the freaking man. She's a beast. But so we talked about that last time, and Ken is like that. But once he gets this aha moment that we talked about, when he sees that suspicious man pulling the suitcase, he has that moment, and he is quick to be like, hey, Miami detectives, this is what I have.
Yep.
And so he goes over to the detectives, and he presents this problem. He tells Detective Alan Foote, who is the lead detective.
You're wrong.
Yeah, he tells him, by the way, that 20 minutes you guys have been staring at, let's take another look at that. And so Detective Foote is like agrees to take a look, and he realizes that, yeah, the whole foundation that this case is based on, them thinking that something happened in these 20 minutes, that crumbled immediately when Ken pointed that out.
That'd be distressing.
I can see both. I can see Foote being like, that sucks so bad. We spent months looking at that.
Yeah,
but
part.
Yeah, but then also like, Oh, finally! Thank heaven
Yeah.
someone figured that out.
Yeah. It would suck if you're in court or something, like trying someone and they brought that out. You'd be like, oh.
Oh yeah.
This guy didn't do
Okay,
anything.
caught. You're right. True. Yeah. So once Foot sees that, Ken pushes a little further and he points out that man who leaves early with a heavy suitcase and later returns without it. So to Ken, this is so obvious. He's like, "Hey, by the way, that's the man. Ina's in the suitcase, and that's how he disposed of her." But Detective Foot isn't sold right away. And there's a few reasons that he's not bought all in. One being is Eni's own account of what happened that night. So we talked about last episode how she had obviously severe brain damage. And because of that, at first she couldn't remember anything at all. It was all gone.
Yep.
But then as time went on, she started to get bits and pieces of memory back. And so she was trying to put this together. And what happened was she told investigators that at least 2 men were responsible for the attack. She described them as Caucasian, possibly speaking with Spanish accents. In that surveillance video, the big suspicious man with the suitcase was black and obviously did not line with with 2 Caucasians.
Yeah, I feel like one, like memory isn't great, and
True.
then 2, she has brain damage and
Right.
stuff. It's like, how can you try? How can you? I mean, it's probably like good to hear her story, but it's like, how much is she remembering, and how
That's
much is this
accurate.
like, random?
Yeah.
Memories
And that's what they're
ideas.
kind of feeling because she says, like, the one thing she's certain about is she doesn't remember any faces. What she commonly goes back to is how she felt pressure on her face. She felt like she couldn't breathe. And to investigators, that suggested suffocation or asphyxiation. But even as she shared these details, Ina was, like you said, she was careful to acknowledge her limits. Like, she knows she has brain damage. So she wasn't, like, coming at them saying, "Hey, by the way, this is fact. This is exactly what happened."
Yeah.
She's well aware that, like, hey, this is the best I got. And she would have dreams and nightmares about this.
Oh,
And so she would have these,
okay.
like, flashes
Interesting.
thinking that, like, this is what happened.
Yeah.
So that's, like, when you're like, okay, how much of this is, like, your mind protecting itself or making up stories and filling in the gaps, and how much is, like, reality? So this is, like, late 90s, early 2000s, or 2005 in our story. This is the age of the hypnosis era.
Oh.
So Ina agrees, and she goes into clinical hypnosis.
Okay.
What's
Better
your opinion
than
on hypnosis?
I think it's kind of sick.
Yeah? Do you think it works?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I watched this YouTube video from this CIA agent who
Whoa.
watched a hypnosis thing, John Kirizaku, and he was
Wow,
like,
good memory.
yeah, he was like, he's like, yeah, it's pretty
Legit.
intense, yeah. He's like the guy, like they made him like the guy's hand just like stand up, or what's it? Raised. I don't know why I couldn't think.
This was standing on his hand.
The entire time. It was like a 3 or 4 hour like interview, and the guy just kept it up the whole time.
Yeah.
Like
Weird.
I don't know. It was like something where it was like, or maybe it was up like this. I don't know. But like if you like
You
hold
can't
your
hold your
out-
arm like that for a very long time.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, he said it was crazy, but
I feel like
that
I've
was just
heard
like
mixed.
random thing I remembered, but.
I know. I feel like I hear mixed. I feel like I've also heard that you have to be very impressionable. Like different personality types work better for
Those
it.
are like hypnotists, like
True.
or those are like the stage people.
Right. But I imagine it works similar where like you can't just like be hypnotized or go under clinical hypnosis very easily if you're like very skeptical and not all for it, I think.
Yeah.
But that's kind of why like at this time, like in the early 2000s, it was like much more like, oh, we can retrieve memories. However, like nowadays, it's more controversial. A lot of people are thinking that like you're more so creating memories than you are retrieving memories. And so like something like this,
Kind of just memory in general. Like eyewitnesses, it's like a lot of times they're not correct.
yeah. And I think, oh, I'm going to be so wrong about this. I thought I heard somewhere that every time you remember something, a detail changes. Like, you never have it correct.
I don't know about that one.
Okay, someone fact check us.
I'm just kidding.
Put in the comments if you know anything about memory. No, but yeah, like as studies go on, as time goes on, people know that like memory is always changing. It's always weird. You never can rely on it.
Yeah.
So under hypnosis, though, Ina began to describe a more complete narrative. So right now she's been having bits and pieces.
Starting to come back.
This is what she gathers. She goes under the whole therapy, and then she comes back saying she was carried down a back staircase from her room. She was placed in a car. She was driven somewhere. She was raped in the back seat while someone laughed. She described once again the sensation of suffocation and something pressing over her face. The story obviously feels real. Like she has like it all pieced together in a perfect timeline. It explained how she ended up miles away as well, and it aligned with the fragmented sensations that she already remembers, like the feeling of pressure and suffocation.
Is there something? Is there stairs in the back?
There's stairs in the back, and they got a camera on him,
and no one.
No one's there. So the evidence doesn't line up.
Maybe someone like Penelope is messing with the cameras.
They're like that high tech. Like we're gonna have the cameras making it look like it's somewhere else or whatever.
It's like makes the person invisible.
Disappear. Yeah, it's like some James Bond type stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so it's like really difficult because she's telling this whole story. It doesn't line up with evidence that they know is accurate. Besides maybe the fact that she was in the back of a car, like the fact that she was driven miles away, like. That checks out. How was she supposed to get 8 miles away?
That checks out for sure.
You're such a sarcastic son of a gun. Yeah. Well, like I just said, there was the surveillance footage, but there was no footage of her getting carried. There's no one on those back stairs. And so we have Ken saying, hey, it's the guy with the elevator and the suitcase. Ina saying, I remember a staircase and a guy. And the detectives are wondering, like, we want to believe the victim, but Ken's onto something. And they're like, you know what, Ken? Have at it. Keep going. And Ken's like, okay.
Might as well.
Yeah. So he goes right back to it.
Because, like, they're not paying him.
True. They're like, sweet. Hotel's got that covered.
Yeah.
That's a good point. So Ken, he goes back to the footage, and he's been killing it with the footage. And what he notices is that, obviously, there's nothing. It's too grainy to be able to identify faces all that well or, like, brands. And what were you gonna say?
I feel like even nowadays surveillance isn't super great.
Why is that?
I don't know.
We have such great technology.
Yeah.
Do you think people are just not updating their freaking?
I mean, I feel like a house like security system is way better than like gas station and stuff. It's like
we know we have really good security because of when our Christmas light guy had to use the bathroom the other day on the side of the house. It's so funny. Like, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to see you. That's so good. But you're right. Like, we have like such clear footage at our house versus other places. So maybe they're just not willing to pay for the upgrade.
Yeah.
But Ken goes as far as being like, okay, we need technological help. I know a guy. Let's talk to NASA.
Whoa.
He's
like, let's use some satellites and pinpoint what happened.
No, he's not doing that.
Oh.
He's just using NASA like level image processing technology.
Hell
His goal is to like enhance the photos and images. So they do that, and actually, it literally does nothing for them. Like I don't see anything more clear because of that enhancement, and it really felt like a wall that he ran into. But what he does notice is that the man on the elevator was walking along another individual at some point. It looked like they were chatting with each other. And that guy was wearing what looked like a lanyard and like a white T-shirt that said the word Verado on it. So that term is associated with marine equipment. So I guess Verado primarily refers to the company Mercury Marine's premium line of outboard boat motors known for their smooth, quiet, and powerful performance. So he's like, maybe that's a work shirt. Like, maybe we're onto something.
Yeah.
Which I think Ken gets like a million praises for like his detective work because he's like going above and beyond, which is great. Because Ken's like, boats. I'm going to go see if there's any boats around town. And as he started... Well, that's what I'll tell you.
Aren't they in Florida?
They're in Florida. But what I mean is he's working. So they decided to look up if there's any big events going on in Florida at this time. Because up to this point, they're thinking this elevator man could have just been somebody on vacation. He's passing through. Like, what is he in town for? But he looks up all the major events in the city and confirms that it coincides with the Miami Boat Show, an event that is known to bring large numbers of temporary workers from outside of Florida. And so from there, Ken makes a lot of phone calls. All his detective work is a ton of phone calls from here on out. Ken begins by calling companies known to staff the Miami Boat Show, asking 3 questions. He said, do you have any employees that were at the Miami Boat Show? Were any of them housed at this Regency hotel? And was the Verado shirt their company shirt? So for the first 2 questions, most of the companies say, yeah, like we have tons of employees there. A lot of them stayed at Regency. And no, that's not our company shirt. They keep hitting that left and right.
It could just be like a merch shirt, like or like a giveaway, like for company branding, and the guy just had it
like
on.
A t-shirt toss, like a generic thing.
Or just like I have like random brand shirts that I'm not affiliated with.
Yeah, and that's what he's like getting worried about. He talked to one company, and it was like the parent company of Mercury Marine. It's called Brunswick. And on their first call, their answer was the same as everybody else. But believe it or not, this security guy, the head of security, is very proactive, I guess. I feel like they hear that phone call, like, oh, doesn't ring a bell, and then they never think about it again. Well, the head of security actually called Ken back 2 weeks later, and he remembered that the only people that he remembers who got the Mercury Verado shirts were actually food court employees at the boat show. So like, oh, there actually were employees, and they were at the food concessions.
Yeah.
So Ken's like, all right, well, who runs the food court? And he's like, oh, I know the guy. It's called Centerplate. So Centerplate's our company that Ken's like freaking bloodhound going down these trails.
Yeah.
So Centerplate is a national concessions company that staffed the Miami Boat Show and housed employees in airport area hotels. They do a lot of big events. So Ken calls them, and it's another difficult spot where they say, oh yeah, by the way, we brought in 200 plus workers for this event. And on top of that, they reimbursed housing for all of them, but they weren't the ones putting them in their housing. So like, we don't know where any of our employees stayed. We just paid it off.
Can't you just look at the receipts they send in?
Nice. You're saying for like the center plates? Yes, they can do that. And I'll take it a step further with credit card information. But before we get into that, one key tip that this center plate employee gave Ken, like when Ken was asking further, like, does a big black man sound familiar who wears glasses? Center plate's like, oh, that sounds familiar. And this big guy, he was hired out of Louisiana. He goes, oh, Louisiana, very fascinating.
Why?
Well, it's just going to be good to know.
Oh.
Not fascinating from anything we've seen yet, but like, and then potential next step.
Yeah,
right? And it's funny because like this guy's like describing this employee, and Ken's like, yeah, about 6'2", 320 pounds. Yeah, that's our guy. So like, okay, big man's from Louisiana. That's all they got so far.
Yeah,
is what they're thinking. So Ken goes back to the hotel payment records, and this is what I was just about to say. You were saying about like receipts and stuff. Well, he's feeling real confident that this man was an employee of Centerplate. So he digs through the corporate cards used during this time frame at the hotel, and among those records, one card stands out. It was used during the boat show window, like the days he would have been in town.
How does he? They just let him do this?
Yeah, they're like, they don't want the...
Oh, yeah, he's working for him.
Yeah, he's like, let me do everything. Yeah, they don't want the liability. And then the cards matches the timeline of the man in the elevator, and it paid for a room consistent with the suspect's movement. So, like, what they can tell, like, when he used the key card, what floor it looked like he was going to, stuff like that. So that card led to a name on the account.
Uh-oh.
And that name is Michael Lee Jones.
Michael Lee Jones.
And the address on file that he put in is outdated.
Ooh.
Right. So Jones is no
he
longer
knew what he
in
was
Florida.
doing.
Yeah, that's what. Well, yeah, it seems like that. But also, he thinks he's dealing with a concessions guy. So he's thinking maybe this guy's just a traveler.
Yeah.
Like he's not sticking in one place very long. Is that a song?
Yeah. No, keep going.
Okay. But with that previous center plate tip, he thought Michael must be from Louisiana. So Ken digs further, which is kind of funny because he has like a name and a general location, but I'm like, of Michael Lee Jones in the whole state of Louisiana. That's like probably pretty hard to narrow down.
Yeah.
But Brennan has an old friend. His name's Captain Ernest Dema. He's at NOPD. And he asked for help tracking this mysterious food court worker from Louisiana.
Yeah.
Well, Dema and Ken Brennan, verified that the man matching the description worked at the Superdome, which is like that big stadium in New Orleans. When I saw that, I was like, is there a lot of Superdomes? I feel like all the domes look super to me. I didn't know it was like one stadium.
Is this the name?
Yeah, I didn't know that until I looked it up. I was like, maybe other people don't know this.
He worked at the Superdome. I'm like, yeah, exactly.
Shut up right now. Well, maybe some people don't know. What do I know? And he was working still under Center Plate Company.
Mm-hmm.
So they were like, okay, we got to get to the Superdome. We're going to figure this out. But an unexpected roadblock hit them. So this is like 2006. When Brennan was conducting his investigation, Hurricane Katrina sweeping through. Yeah. It had devastated New Orleans and scattered the workplace. So Jones was no longer with Center Plate, and no one knew where he had gone. So people were like obviously evacuating, and like, okay, they got him all the way up to this point, and now he's gone again, which is crazy. I didn't even think about like how natural disasters could affect a crime case.
Yeah, there's this one case that I want to do and I've listened to is about this girl who went missing on 9/11.
Oh, I know the one.
Yeah.
So sad.
And she has like nothing to do with like the towers, but she just like went missing and everyone was already
and she
really
wasn't
busy.
like on footage, like shopping or something. The last thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's so sad. That case would be completely buried in a situation like that.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So anyways, once Brennan knows he's hunting for a traveling concession worker, likely from the Louisiana, like Superdome area world, he widens the search. So he goes back to making all the phone calls. He made a master list of major catering and concession companies in the United States.
Mm.
He calls them one by one. He's like, you got a Michael Jones? You got a Michael Jones? And it's like, no. He gave him all the descriptions. And near the bottom of the list, he hits Ovations in Tampa. So Ovations is Center Plate's parent company. So they're all connected, but Ovations, they're like, seems as though they have a Michael Jones. Ooh. And Ken being Ken, he's like, I'm driving to Tampa right now.
Yeah.
Head straight there, right to the top. Upon arrival, he asked to review their records to see if they had a man hired matching the evidence they had so far. Surprisingly, the representative there was like, I'll let you know once you get a subpoena. And I don't know if that's as weird as I feel like it is. I think like a private investigator, you're like, oh, like this is a big deal. But maybe they're still like protecting their company. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's pretty normal.
I feel like they can just get whatever they want. Well,
you can't just give people's information out to anyone.
Yeah.
Especially a private investigator. That's not like law enforcement.
I guess that's true. It's Ken, not Detective Foot. But Ken was like, okay. In the office, makes a call to Detective Foot. And there's like on the fax, here comes the subpoena while he's standing there. Yeah. So it's like, okay, great. Here you go. And within like a few minutes, which I think that's like so cool. Yeah. Like, oh, you want that? Shh. Look at your fax machine. Mm-hmm. So now armed with the subpoena, they confirm they do have a Michael Jones on payroll. He matches the description. And most importantly, they now know he is managing a concessions at a minor league ballpark in Frederick, Maryland. That's the moment Brennan finally had a current, accurate location on this guy. Mm-hmm. He's stoked out of his mind. He's calling everybody. We got our guy. Yeah. And keep in mind, Detective Foot is like not convinced at this point. He's like, I'll check it out, but like, what are the chances? Yeah. So by spring of 2006, Jones is no longer in Florida. They figured out where he is. He's managing this concession stand more than 1,000 miles away from the Miami Airport Regency Hotel where Ina was attacked. He is living quietly in a modest apartment. He's following the same pattern that he used before. He's just working temporary jobs, moving city to city, leaving little trace behind. That feels very trucker vibes to me. Mm-hmm. And everyone's been suspicious about truckers lately. Yeah. Has there been any updates with that stuff?
I haven't seen anything, but there's been a lot of serial killer trucker drivers.
Terrifying.
Yeah, it's because they're just...
transit.
Yeah. They're never in the same spot.
Yeah. That's so freaky. And it seems like concession stand people could also be pulling off that same.
Yeah, they're kind of like circus people.
Oh,
A little
creepy.
bit.
The clowns. That's another Criminal Minds episode right there. Well, with Jones located, law enforcement is like, all right, thanks, Ken. We got it from here.
Do we trust them, though? I think I trust Ken.
Me too. And they trust Ken.
I'm just joking.
Yeah, so April, like, the detective Alan Foote, he travels to Frederick to interview Jones. At the ballpark, actually. Like, he goes up to, this is how I envision it. He goes up to the concession, like, you, Michael, can we talk for a second? He's like, okay. Well, it was interesting because Jones, like Michael Jones, does not attempt to flee or refuse to speak. During the interview, he acknowledges several key facts. He says, yeah, he was working, like, the Miami boat show. He confirms he stayed at the airport Regency Hotel during the relevant time. And he denies having sex, though, with anyone at the hotel. When asked...
sex, though?
Having sex with, I don't know. I don't think I said that.
That's what I heard.
Maybe I said so or something. But when asked to provide a voluntary DNA sample, Michael's like, absolutely. Quote, absolutely. Whoa. Yeah. And he'll give it away. So the swab is collected literally right then. He's like, okay, I got it on me. Collect the swab. And they send it to the lab, but it's going to take months for the DNA to come back. But while the DNA is pending, Ken is like, I can't wait around all day. Heck no. He's like, you know what? I'm going to go talk to him myself. And it's like late 2006 now. And he travels to Maryland and is like, hey, Michael Jones, it's my turn to talk to you. Jones again denies knowing anything about the assault. His demeanor is calm. He's detached and unconcerned. Very like, this is an inconvenience rather than like, I'm scared out of my mind. I'm getting caught.
Yeah.
So Brennan later describes like his characteristic as like what's the right word? An experienced offender. He's like, he's a pro. He does not like he's innocent.
Yeah.
So while Detective Foote is feeling like this guy gives off no vibes of being guilty, Brennan's thinking, no, it's because he's a pro. Before leaving, Ken Brennan tells him plainly, quote, I'm going to be back and I'm going to be coming for you.
Nice.
Doesn't that feel so dad to me?
Yeah.
Like the point too. Like, I'm coming for you. That's exactly what it feels like. I was like, you go, Ken. Well, the DNA finally makes its way back and the results are finally in and they confirm Brennan's suspicions. Michael Jones' DNA matches semen recovered from Ina Budnystka's assault.
Whoa, that's crazy.
Yeah, so the match...
So...
Oh, go ahead.
He's just a great liar. So he's a sociopath.
What's the first thing that he's going to say? Oh, my DNA? Well, now there's an explanation.
Yeah.
Right?
We hooked up.
Exactly. That's always how it goes. The match removes any remaining doubt, at least for Ken. But they still have to get the story straight, and they want a confession, obviously. So Michael Jones is arrested and interrogated. There's interrogation videos on ABC Nightline News that I might be using, so it's going to be like sporadically probably going on. But I'll give you like the gist of it. In the video, they sit him down and he is calm as can be.
Give us your version of what went down. And you only get one chance at it.
All right, I mean, straight up. I mean, obviously they were hookers or whatever. And, we were talking, they were like, we want to have some fun.
And then what happens next? You go to her room, she go to your room?
Went to her room.
You went to her room?
Mm-hmm. And then, she whispers in my ear $100. So we did it, and I gave her $100, and I left.
And it's like, okay. So there's video on, like, the outside of the hotel and the inside of the hotel. And in the video, like, Ian and her friend are standing outside the hotel. And Michael walks by. They don't interact at all. And to investigators, like, that's not prostitute behavior. If you're going to a hotel, like, that's when they're going to talk to you and advertise. And then they walk into the hotel. They don't talk at the elevator. Like, he sparks a little conversation. But he's like, yeah, she just said $100 and I went to her room or something like that. So he's pulling the same cards that every perpetrator ever has said. Disturbing and disgusting. They then go on to ask, okay, well, tell me about this like suitcase of yours.
What do you have in your bag when you went out to your car?
My clothes.
How much clothes did you have?
A bunch of were there like, I think, 2 weeks.
How heavy was it? Was it fairly light?
No, it was heavy. I had a bunch. I had my Xbox in there, all kinds of
Yeah, Xbox was in there. Anything else? Your clothes?
clothes,
How many pairs of shoes?
books.
You got books? What was the name of the books you were reading?
I have no idea. I couldn't even tell you what the name of the book was. Just took out my pocket.
So it's like, oh, honey, you're not bringing books on a 2-week work trip. So at this point, they're like, okay, like, yes, you seem all cool, calm, collected. Your answers aren't making sense. And they ask him to do a polygraph test. Surprisingly, he's like, yeah, let's do it. Big fail. Big fat fail. Yeah, no, big fat fail. He thought he had it in the bag. Not at all. Really? And Michael is charged with sexual battery and kidnapping. So even then, he maintains his innocence to the very end. He says he will not ever confess. So prosecutors don't feel confident, though, in this case because they have the DNA. But frankly, they don't have much evidence. The suitcase was never recovered. The hotel room and any rental car evidence are long gone. The DNA proves like sexual encounter occurred, but not whether it was consensual. Mm-hmm. The case is extra fragile because Ina's traumatic brain injury has left her with fragmented memory and often incorrect memories. So her testimony wouldn't carry a lot of weight in court. Because this whole time she's saying 2 white guys and a Spanish accent and I was carried and yeah, like actually don't testify. Exactly. And it's so sad because like you want the victim to be able to say their story, but she doesn't remember this guy at all. Yeah. And so they're like, we don't even want to put her on the stand. She's going to hurt the case. So prosecutors fear a jury could like acquit him. So they offered a plea deal. Big bummer.
I feel like that happens most of the time.
I feel like that's the right call in terms of like you want him off the street and that's probably the right thing to do, but he took it, even though it's like such a bummer. Very nice, satisfying. Yeah. So Michael Jones pleads guilty to 1 count of sexual battery with a weapon and aggravated battery. The most serious charges are dropped, as you would expect. He received a 2-year prison sentence. She basically died. She was unconscious for at least 24 hours when they found her. Yeah. Ina herself is furious. The detectives are obviously disappointed. They did what they could, but it doesn't feel like enough. It's like justice, but not really justice. Yeah. The body language of Michael in the videos never sat right with him, and his calm demeanor while getting questioned at the ballpark and the interrogation room was just all too unsettling. To Ken Brennan, this was a repeat offender. Yeah. Convinced Jones is a serial rapist. He pressures the Miami-Dade Police to enter Jones' DNA into CODIS, the FBI's national DNA database.
I feel like that should happen every time.
I don't know why it wouldn't, but maybe because this is early 2000s. Like, surely it happens nowadays. I actually don't know the facts on that. I think you do. I think like every time you're like arrested, you're now in the database. It's like a ton now, I think. Anyways, I'd have to fact check that. But this is late 2006, so maybe it's just not as common. He convinces them to do it. And the results are immediate and devastating. CODIS produces 3 hits. Okay. Yep. So 1 in Colorado Springs tied to the December 2005 rape of Jennifer Rosler, and 2 in New Orleans tied to the rapes of Rachel, that's all she goes by, in the May of 2003, and Lorraine Gautreaux, I think it's pronounced, in June of 2003. So as Jones' short Florida sentence nears its end, authorities are moving quick. In July 2008, he was extradited to Colorado to stand trial for these other attacks. By the time Michael Lee Jones is brought to Colorado to stand trial, the case prosecutors plan to present, or their plan no longer is as simple as I thought it was going to be. Because like their main victim was going to be, and their testimony was going to be Jennifer. She's the woman that Jones is accused of raping in Colorado in spring of 2005. But she had died of natural causes before the case ever reached jury. Yeah. And so with her gone, prosecutors lose that. They do have DNA, which is great. But it's sometimes not the same without the victim's voice, you know? Like that's like carries so much weight for a jury. That'd be so scary as a jury. I feel like hearing victims, I'd be like sobbing the whole time. I would not do well in that situation. Yeah. What remains, though, like you said, is the evidence and, frankly, the pattern of Michael. So the prosecution reconstructs its case around these other evidence, the DNA in the prior acts, arguing that Jones' behavior follows a distinct and repeatable method across multiple states. So the DNA recovered from Jennifer's assault did match Michael Jones, obviously, and that fact is uncontested. But regardless, Michael Jones is pleading not guilty, arguing that it was consensual. And now we don't have her voice telling us otherwise. And I hate that. Because that's like word against word in this situation. But DNA alone does not help us tell the story. So prosecutors turned to the woman who survived Jones before and lived long enough to speak about it. And that's our main character of the story, Ina. So Ina, obviously, back to Ina. They flew her in to Colorado to testify. And she's so brave. That'd be so hard too, because you don't really remember it. So you're like, testifying against, like, you're telling your story, but like you still don't recognize this man. So that's kind of a hard thing for her to say. But for her, this isn't about her personal story. She, in a way, is like, you know what, I need to highlight who this man is so that to protect other women. Like, she's a strong lady. That'd be so hard to face your attacker. She explains how she was attacked, how she was moved, how she was left for dead. She is honest about her limits with her memory and the damage it caused. So she was very honest and very blunt. And I think that probably gave her almost like more validation, that she was like, I know my memory's not perfect, but like his DNA matched and I did not consent with that guy, you know? Yeah. So then they have Rachel as the next testifier. She was assaulted in New Orleans in May of 2003, and so she takes the stand. Rachel had been visiting for Jazz Fest and accepted a ride from a man who took her to a secluded area and sexually assaulted her. She had worked with police at the time in 2003 to create a composite sketch of her attacker right after her assault, long before Jones was ever identified. And the sketch was actually introduced to evidence, and it's pretty uncanny. That's it. Like, that looks like a pretty good matchup to me.
That kind of looks fierce.
Yeah, disgusting. And, like, the description already, like we say, obviously, like, eyewitnesses aren't the most reliable, but that's, like, probably the closest you can get. I've never seen a composite sketch actually line up that well.
There's been a couple funny ones on like, online. Like there was this one where, like, the person that's, the sketch looks exactly like the news anchor.
Oh, really? That's so funny. Like, this is super weird. I just saw one where it's like, it looks like a kid cartoon drawing, and then they pop up the guy and it looks like him, like circle eyes or whatever. Yeah, like, that would be so hard to be a sketch artist and actually, like, be able to create what they're thinking. But, well, anyways, and then the last victim that spoke was Lorraine Gautreaux. I don't even know how to say it. Gautreaux, probably. But she was raped in New Orleans in June 2003. I should try harder with names. I'm so sorry, Lorraine. But she testifies. She said that she was walking along a street when a man forced her into his car, drove her near City Park, and held a knife to her throat and sexually assaulted her. She described him as extremely calm and in control and believed he had done this before. It seemed like he was very comfortable in this situation, which is such a disturbing thing to even notice. She tells the jury he spoke to her as if nothing unusual was happening, a detail that obviously matches his personality. Like, everyone this whole time has been talking about how he's so creepily calm and chill. So the defense objects repeatedly, but at trial, the Colorado Supreme Court opinion groups the Louisiana conduct as 2 prior sexual assaults, with Florida as the 3rd incident forming the overall pattern. So in early 2009, the jury deliberates and returns a verdict. Jones' consent argument could not overcome the combination of forensic evidence and the consistent, independent accounts of prior victims. So the jury found him guilty of sexual assault and unlawful sexual contact in the Colorado case, and he was sentenced to 24 years to life in prison.
A little better than 2 years.
Way better than 2 years. Yeah. And I know Ina's happy about this. I think it's, like, probably pretty devastating that couldn't have happened in your case as well. But being happy that your attacker is off the streets, yeah, big win. So for the first time, the sentence kind of matches more of the scope of the crime. Years later, the conviction is briefly overturned. Yeah. So Michael claimed improper admission of prior acts testimony. He argued that the trial court should not have allowed the testimony of other survivors, including Ina, to be presented to the jury. His claim was that it encouraged the jury to convict him based on character and pattern, not on like the Colorado case alone. And it actually worked for a time. I forgot to write it down. I think it was like a year or 2 or 3. Not more than 3. But in 2013, the Colorado Supreme Court reinstates it, ruling that the trial was conducted properly and the prior acts evidence was admissible. So, like, originally it worked, but they're like, you know what? Bring them back. I don't like that. And so then the verdict stood. And because Ina Budnystka was willing to testify, not just for herself, but for a woman who never got the chance, Rachel, Michael Lee Jones will never walk free again. And that is the end of our 2-parter of Ina Budnystka and the serial rapist Michael Lee Jones. So all the images, as always, and I have some clips of the interrogation, all that will be in the YouTube video as well. And if you're on Spotify, I'm so sorry. I don't know what's going on. I can't get part 1 up. I'm going to figure it out tomorrow, and we'll get part 1 and part 2 up on Spotify tomorrow, if possible. Spotify is just being a little B word. But, yeah. So, as always, time for true crime news. Doo-doo-doo.
Alrighty, so for true crime news today, confessional videos found in Brown University and MIT professor killings. What happened? The suspect in the Brown University campus shooting. Why are you laughing?
Because you said what happened. I know, that's why it's just so funny. You're reading it verbatim. Okay, carry on. What did happen, Blake? Tell us.
Yeah, the suspect in the Brown University campus shooting on December 13th, 2025, which killed 2 students and injured 9, also fatally shot an MIT professor days later. Federal investigators recovered confessional videos the suspect recorded, admitting involvement in both attacks. The suspect was found dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound in New Hampshire during the investigation.
I feel like a lot of murders come out of New Hampshire for some reason. I didn't hear that shooting at all, I don't think. No. I think I'm so out of the loop. For being a true crime podcast, I don't get anything fed to me with true crime.
Videos could shed light on the motive in attacks that shocked academic communities and reignite debates about campus safety and extremism.
Does that wait, that's already out now? The files, or is that they have that but it's not public?
They have the video confessional videos and the guns, and then they have those because he killed himself.
Right, but we don't have access to it or anything. Like, we don't know why. They haven't told anybody. Okay, I see. Well, that's kind of nice that we actually have a reason why for the first time. I feel like we never get that when people take their life after committing crimes. Yeah, that's insane. Well, thanks for listening. This was our first episode of 2026, officially season 2.
Yeah.
Let's go. I'm so stoked for this year. Like I might have mentioned last time, our goals are the website, Patreon, get some merch out. So
1,000 followers.
1,000 followers on everything, and more. So thank you for your support. We'll be back next week with another episode of Siblings in Crime.